Opening credits. From Zero to Strategist. The Self-Taught Pro's Roadmap to Analyzing the Competitive Landscape, Developing a Winning Game Plan, and Building a Long-Term Competitive Advantage. By Ron Gardinski. Introduction. Beyond the to-do list, from doing things right to doing the right things. Consider two meetings happening on two different floors of the same company. On the 10th floor, in a tactical operations meeting, the team is gathered around a project plan. The conversation is a flurry of activity and urgency. We're behind on task 4B. We need to reallocate a developer. Marketing needs the final copy for the ad campaign by Friday. Can we push the server update to next week to hit our current sprint goal? The entire focus of the room is on efficiency, on execution, on getting more done faster. The core question being asked implicitly and explicitly is, are we doing things right? On the 30th floor, in a strategy session, the conversation is completely different. The mood is quieter, more expansive. The whiteboard is not filled with tasks, but with diagrams of market maps and customer segments. The questions are not about when, but about why and what if. Which customer segment is most profitable and which is most underserved? Our main competitor just lowered their prices. Should we match them, or should we double down on our premium service? What new technology on the horizon could make our entire current business model obsolete in the next 5 years? The core question being asked here is not, are we doing things right? But the far more powerful and far more terrifying question, are we doing the right things? The ability to move from the 10th floor to the 30th floor, to graduate from being an expert in execution to being an architect of direction, is the single most significant leap a professional can make. That leap is the journey from manager to strategist. Strategy is a word that is thrown around, so often it has been rendered almost meaningless. It's used to describe everything from a sales tactic to a company's mission statement. But true strategy is none of those things. It is not a goal. It is not a vision. It is not an action plan. Strategy is the integrated set of choices that uniquely positions a firm in its industry so as to create sustainable advantage and superior value relative to the competition. It is, in short, the answer to how you're going to win. This book is the playbook for finding that answer. It is a systematic, step-by-step roadmap for the self-taught pro who knows they need to think more strategically but was never given the tools. We will demystify the art of strategy and turn it into a repeatable science. First, we will build the strategist mindset, teaching you how to see the entire system, not just the immediate task, and to frame every problem with the two core strategic questions. Next, we will move to analyzing the battlefield, where you will learn the classic field-tested framework for seeing your industry, your company, your competitors, and your customers with brutal, objective clarity. Then, we will begin developing the game plan, a process of making deliberate choices, defining your unique value, and articulating your strategy with unshakable clarity. Finally, we will bridge the gap from plan to action, providing you with the systems to translate your high-level strategy into concrete objectives and ensure it is executed, measured, and adapted in the real world. The skills of execution can make you a valuable employee. The skills of strategy can make you an indispensable leader. By the end of this roadmap, you will no longer be just a player in the game. You will be the one who designs how the game is played. Chapter 1. The Strategist's Mandate. Architect, not firefighter. In every organization, there are two fundamental modes of operation: reacting and creating. The vast majority of professional life is spent in the first mode, the firefighter mode. You arrive at work, open your inbox, and the alarms are already ringing. A customer is upset. A deadline is in jeopardy. A competitor launched a new feature. Your entire day is consumed by a series of urgent, tactical responses to immediate problems. You're busy. You're productive. You are an expert at putting out fires. But at the end of the day, all you have done is return the building to the state it was in that morning. You have not made it taller, stronger, or more valuable. The strategist operates in the second mode, the architect mode. The architect is not concerned with the fire in room 201. They are concerned with the structural integrity of the entire building, the flow of people between its floors, and the blueprint for the new wing that will double its value in the next 5 years. The firefighter's job is to save what exists. The architect's job is to create what comes next. This is the core identity shift you must make. Your mandate as a strategist is to rise above the smoke of the daily firefight and dedicate yourself to the design of the future. Strategy is not a to-do list. The first step in this shift is to develop a ruthless clarity about what strategy is and, more importantly, what it is not. A goal is not a strategy. A goal is a desired outcome. To become the #1 provider of accounting software is a goal. It is the what. A strategy is the how. It is the coherent set of choices and actions you will take that will make you the #1 provider. A tactic is not a strategy. A tactic is a single, specific action. Running a 20% off promotion is a tactic. Launching a new ad campaign on LinkedIn is a tactic. A strategy is the overarching logic that connects and gives purpose to all your tactics. A strategy of being the lowest cost provider might use the discount tactic. A strategy of being the premium, white glove service provider would almost certainly not. Best practices are not a strategy. Adopting the same best practices as everyone else in your industry is a recipe for sameness, not advantage. Strategy is not about being the best. It is about being unique. It is about choosing to do things differently from your rivals in a way that creates superior value for a specific set of customers. The essence of strategy is choice. At its very core, strategy is about making hard choices. It is the deliberate decision to pursue one path and, therefore, not to pursue others. As strategy guru Michael Porter famously said, "The essence of strategy is choosing what not to do." A company that says, "Our strategy is to serve all customers with all types of products at all price points," does not have a strategy. It has a wish list. A real strategy involves making trade-offs. Southwest Airlines made a strategic choice to fly only one type of aircraft, the Boeing 737. This creates massive efficiencies in maintenance, training, and scheduling. It also means they cannot serve long-haul international routes. They chose what not to do. IKEA made a strategic choice to have customers assemble their own furniture. This dramatically lowers their costs for shipping and labor. It also means they are not serving the customer who wants a fully assembled, delivered product. They chose who not to serve. Your mandate as a strategist is to be the facilitator of these hard choices. You are the one who must force the organization to move beyond the comfortable ambiguity of "we want to be all things to all people" and into the difficult but powerful clarity of "this is who we are, this is who we serve, and this is how we will win." This requires a unique form of professional courage. It is often far easier and safer to be the firefighter. Everyone loves the person who puts out the fire. The architect, by contrast, must often be the one who delivers the uncomfortable news that the current building is flawed, that a popular wing must be torn down, or that the ambitious new plan will require a difficult and painful renovation. But this is the work that matters. This is the work that creates lasting value. Your mandate is clear. Put down the fire extinguisher and pick up the blueprints. Chapter 2. Thinking in systems, seeing the whole board, not just the next move. The firefighter reacts to the immediate event, the fire. The architect considers the entire system, the building structure, its electrical wiring, its plumbing, its airflow, and how a change in one area will impact all the others. This ability to see the world not as a series of discrete, independent events, but as a web of interconnected and interdependent elements is the hallmark of the strategic mind. It is called systems thinking. Without a systems thinking approach, your strategy will be shallow and brittle. You will be constantly surprised by the unintended consequences of your decisions because you have failed to see the second, third, and fourth order effects of your actions. You are playing checkers while the world is playing chess. The checker player sees only their next move. The chess grandmaster sees the entire board, anticipates the opponent's responses, and understands how the position of a single pawn can influence the outcome of the entire game 10 moves later. Your job as a strategist is to become a grandmaster of your business's chessboard. This requires mastering two core concepts of systems thinking. Concept 1. Feedback loops, the engines of your system. A system is not a static machine. It is a dynamic, evolving entity driven by feedback loops. A feedback loop occurs when the output of an action feeds back to influence the next action. There are two types of loops. Reinforcing loops, snowballs. These are the engines of growth or decay. An action produces a result that encourages more of the same action, creating exponential change. A positive example: a company launches a great product. Happy customers spread the word. This brings in more new customers, who in turn become happy and spread the word further. The growth snowballs. A negative example: a team misses a deadline, forcing them to rush the next phase. The rushed work is of lower quality, which creates more bugs. The time spent fixing bugs causes them to miss the next deadline even more badly. The failure snowballs. Balancing loops, thermostats. These are the engines of stability and resistance. They seek equilibrium. A balancing loop pushes back against change to maintain a desired state. An example: you're a coffee shop and your line gets too long. Some customers see the long line and leave. The line gets shorter, returning to its equilibrium. This is a balancing loop that naturally limits your growth. To overcome it, you might have to add another barista, fundamentally changing the system. As a strategist, your job is to identify the key feedback loops that drive your business. Which reinforcing loops do you want to amplify? Which balancing loops are holding you back? Concept 2. Second-order thinking, the art of and then what. Every action has a consequence. Second-order thinking is the discipline of thinking through the consequences of the consequences. It is the ability to look beyond the immediate, obvious result of a decision and anticipate the chain reaction of effects that will follow. First-order thinking. We're losing deals on price. Let's lower our prices. This is a simple, reactive solution. Second-order thinking. Okay, we lower our prices. And then what? Our direct competitor will almost certainly match our price cut. And then what? We will both be selling the same product for less money, destroying our profit margins. Our brand, which was built on quality, will now be perceived as a discount brand. And then what? Our lower margins will mean we have less money to invest in R&D, so our product quality will decline over time. The first-order thinker sees a quick fix. The second-order thinker sees a race to the bottom that could destroy the company. The strategist lives in the world of second-order consequences. For every proposed strategic move, they relentlessly ask the question, and then what? The systems thinking protocol, a practical exercise. To begin building your systems thinking muscle, use this simple protocol on your next major decision. Number 1, identify the key elements. What are the main moving parts of the system this decision will affect? Customers, competitors, sales team, product team, company finances? Number 2, map the connections. How do these elements influence each other? Draw a simple diagram with circles and arrows. Number 3, identify the loops. Are there reinforcing or balancing loops at play? Number 4, game it out. If we make this decision, what is the immediate first-order consequence? Now, what is the likely reaction of each key element to that consequence? That is the second-order effect. What is the likely reaction to that? That is the third-order effect. This practice forces you to move beyond linear, cause and effect thinking and into the richer, more complex, and more realistic world of systems. It is the mental operating system required to see the whole board. Chapter 6. The competitive arena. Mapping your rivals to find your edge. You have completed your external analysis of the industry and your internal audit of your own strengths. The next step is to bring these two worlds together by focusing on the point where they collide, the competitive arena. It is not enough to know your own strengths. You must understand them in relation to the strengths and weaknesses of your rivals. Competitive advantage is a relative concept. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be better than the alternatives in a way that matters to your chosen customers. The amateur strategist thinks of competitors as a simple list of logos. Their analysis is surface deep. The professional strategist is a grandmaster of the competitive chessboard. They know that to win, you must understand your opponent. They use systematic tools to map the competitive landscape, revealing not just where the rivals are, but where they aren't. Step 1. Redefine the arena: direct, indirect, and future competitors. Your first task is to broaden your definition of a competitor. You must consider 3 distinct types. Number 1. Direct competitors. This is the most obvious category. These are the firms that offer a very similar product or service to the same customer segment. Think Ford versus General Motors or McDonald's versus Burger King. Number 2. Indirect competitors. Substitutes: these are firms that solve the same underlying customer problem, but with a different solution. This is often where the most disruptive threats come from. A direct competitor to a movie theater is another movie theater. An indirect competitor is Netflix, a video game, or a restaurant, all of which solve the customer's job of having an entertaining evening out. Number 3. Future competitors. New entrants: these are companies that are not yet in your arena, but have the potential to enter and disrupt it. For traditional banks, a future competitor was a tech company like Apple or Google deciding to enter the payment space. Creating a comprehensive list across these 3 categories is the first step toward true situational awareness. Step 2. Visualize the landscape: the strategic group map. A list of competitors is not a map. To truly understand the structure of your competitive arena, you must visualize it. The most powerful tool for this is the strategic group map. This is a simple exercise where you plot your competitors on a 2-axis grid. The key is to choose 2 axes that represent the most important strategic dimensions in your industry. Choosing your axes: what are the 2 most significant variables upon which firms in your industry compete? Common examples include price, quality, breadth of product line, geographic coverage, or level of service. The mapping protocol. First, identify the 2 most critical strategic dimensions for your industry. Second, draw a simple XY axis chart with 1 dimension on each axis. Third, place each of your direct competitors on the map. Fourth, draw a circle around each competitor, with the size of the circle representing their relative market share. The strategic insight. When you step back and look at the completed map, powerful insights will emerge. You will see strategic groups, which are clusters of competitors pursuing a similar strategy. Rivalry is often most intense within these groups. More importantly, you will see the white space, the empty spaces on the map. These are the potentially uncontested market positions. In the 1980s U.S. auto market, a map of price versus reliability would have shown a huge empty space in the low price/high reliability quadrant, a space that Japanese automakers brilliantly exploited. Step 3. Deconstruct your key rivals: the competitor profile. Mapping gives you the landscape view. Now you must zoom in on your most significant threats. For each of these key rivals, you will create a detailed competitor profile, a dossier of competitive intelligence. Your profile should be a living document that answers the following questions. What is their stated strategy? Who are their target customers? What is their core value proposition? What are their key capabilities and weaknesses? What is their recent activity? How will they respond to us? Gathering this information is not an act of corporate espionage. The vast majority of it is publicly available. By moving from a simple list to a strategic group map, and then to deep competitor profiles, you transform your understanding of the competitive arena. This is how you find your edge. Chapter 7. The Customer's World. Uncovering hidden needs with jobs to be done. We have now analyzed the industry, our own capabilities, and our competitors. But we have saved the most important piece of the strategic puzzle for last: the customer. All profit, growth, and competitive advantage flows from one source: the ability to create superior value for a customer. Any strategy not grounded in a true understanding of the customer's world is a house built on sand. The amateur strategist thinks they understand their customer because they have a demographic profile. Our target customer is a 35 to 50-year-old. This information is dangerously shallow. Knowing a customer's age and income tells you almost nothing about their motivations or their struggles. The professional strategist seeks a deeper level of understanding. They know that asking customers, "What do you want?" is often futile. Instead, the strategist seeks to understand the why behind the what. The most powerful framework for this is the jobs to be done theory. Popularized by the late Harvard professor Clayton Christensen, the core idea is simple but profound. Customers don't buy products, they hire products to do a job for them. The famous milkshake story. Christensen's classic example involved a fast food company trying to improve milkshake sales. They first did traditional market research, asking customers if they should make a chocolatier or cheaper. They implemented the feedback, and sales didn't change. Frustrated, researchers stood in a restaurant for 18 hours and simply observed who was buying milkshakes. They discovered a surprising pattern. Nearly half were sold before 8:30 a.m. to people who were by themselves and who always drove off with it. They started interviewing these morning customers, not about the milkshake, but about their morning. They asked, "What job were you trying to get done when you hired that milkshake?" The answers were revelatory. The customers all had a long, boring commute. They needed something that would keep them full until lunch, that they could consume easily with one hand while driving, and that would relieve the tedium of the commute. What was the milkshakes competition? Not of the milkshakes. It was a banana, a donut, a bagel, or a Snickers bar. The milkshake was the best solution for the job of making my long, boring commute more manageable. Once the company understood the real job, they could improve the product to do that job even better, making it thicker, adding tiny bits of fruit, and moving the dispenser to the front of the counter. Sales skyrocketed. Deconstructing the job, the three dimensions. The job is never just a simple task. It has three dimensions. Number one, the functional job. This is the practical, objective task the customer is trying to accomplish. Number two, the emotional job. This is how the customer wants to feel or avoid feeling as a result of doing the job. Number three, the social job. This is how the customer wants to be perceived by others. A truly great strategy designs a solution that addresses all three dimensions of a job. The job story protocol, a tool for clarity. A simple way to articulate the job is to frame it as a job story, using this format. When situation, I want a motivation so I can expect an outcome. This is far more powerful than a typical user story. Instead of as a user, I want a calendar view, a job story would be. When I'm a solo entrepreneur juggling multiple clients, I want to see all my project deadlines in one place so I can feel in control of my work and never miss a commitment. The job story provides the rich context that is missing from traditional requirements. Uncovering the job, the switch interview. How do you find out what a real job is? You conduct switch interviews. You find recent customers who have just switched to your product. The goal is to reconstruct the story of their struggle and their purchasing decision. You're not asking about features. You're being a journalist investigating their journey. Key questions include, take me back to the day you first realized you needed something to solve this problem. What was happening? What were you using before? What wasn't working about it? What other options did you explore? What was it about our solution that made you feel it was the right choice? By shifting your focus from the customer's demographics to the job they're trying to get done, you will unlock a level of insight that your competitors will never see. This is the ultimate source of innovation and the most durable foundation for a winning strategy. Chapter 6, The Competitive Arena. Mapping your rivals to find your edge. You have completed your external analysis of the industry and your internal audit of your own strengths. The next step is to bring these two worlds together by focusing on the point where they collide, the competitive arena. It is not enough to know your own strengths. You must understand them in relation to the strengths and weaknesses of your rivals. Competitive advantage is a relative concept. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be better than the alternatives in a way that matters to your chosen customers. The amateur strategist thinks of competitors as a simple list of logos. Their analysis is surface deep. The professional strategist is a grandmaster of the competitive chessboard. They know that to win, you must understand your opponent. They use systematic tools to map the competitive landscape, revealing not just where the rivals are, but where they aren't. Step 1. Redefine the arena, direct, indirect, and future competitors. Your first task is to broaden your definition of a competitor. You must consider three distinct types. Number one, direct competitors. This is the most obvious category. These are the firms that offer a very similar product or service to the same customer segment. Think Ford versus General Motors or McDonald's versus Burger King. Number two, indirect competitors. Substitutes. These are firms that solve the same underlying customer problem, but with a different solution. This is often where the most disruptive threats come from. A direct competitor to a movie theater is another movie theater. An indirect competitor is Netflix, a video game, or a restaurant, all of which solve the customer's job of having an entertaining evening out. Number three, future competitors. New entrants. These are companies that are not yet in your arena, but have the potential to enter and disrupt it. For traditional banks, a future competitor was a tech company like Apple or Google deciding to enter the payment space. Creating a comprehensive list across these three categories is the first step toward true situational awareness. Step two, visualize the landscape, the strategic group map. A list of competitors is not a map. To truly understand the structure of your competitive arena, you must visualize it. The most powerful tool for this is the strategic group map. This is a simple exercise where you plot your competitors on a two-axis grid. The key is to choose two axes that represent the most important strategic dimensions in your industry. Choosing your axes, what are the two most significant variables upon which firms in your industry compete? Common examples include price, quality, breadth of product line, geographic coverage, or level of service. The mapping protocol. First, identify the two most critical strategic dimensions for your industry. Second, draw a simple XY axis chart with one dimension on each axis. Third, place each of your direct competitors on the map. Fourth, draw a circle around each competitor, with the size of the circle representing their relative market share. The strategic insight. When you step back and look at the completed map, powerful insights will emerge. You will see strategic groups, which are clusters of competitors pursuing a similar strategy. Rivalry is often most intense within these groups. More importantly, you will see the white space, the empty spaces on the map. These are the potentially uncontested market positions. In the 1980s U.S. auto market, a map of price versus reliability would have shown a huge empty space in the low price/high reliability quadrant, a space that Japanese automakers brilliantly exploited. Step 3. Deconstruct your key rivals, the competitor profile. Mapping gives you the landscape view. Now you must zoom in on your most significant threats. For each of these key rivals, you will create a detailed competitor profile, a dossier of competitive intelligence. Your profile should be a living document that answers the following questions. What is their stated strategy? Who are their target customers? What is their core value proposition? What are their key capabilities and weaknesses? What is their recent activity? How will they respond to us? Gathering this information is not an act of corporate espionage. The vast majority of it is publicly available. By moving from a simple list to a strategic group map, and then to deep competitor profiles, you transform your understanding of the competitive arena. This is how you find your edge. Chapter 7. The Customer's World. Uncovering hidden needs with jobs to be done. We have now analyzed the industry, our own capabilities, and our competitors. But we have saved the most important piece of the strategic puzzle for last, the customer. All profit, growth, and competitive advantage flows from one source: the ability to create superior value for a customer. Any strategy not grounded in a true understanding of the customer's world is a house built on sand. The amateur strategist thinks they understand their customer because they have a demographic profile. Our target customer is a 35 to 50-year-old. This information is dangerously shallow. Knowing a customer's age and income tells you almost nothing about their motivations or their struggles. The professional strategist seeks a deeper level of understanding. They know that asking customers, "What do you want?" is often futile. Instead, the strategist seeks to understand the why behind the what. The most powerful framework for this is the jobs to be done theory. Popularized by the late Harvard professor Clayton Christensen, the core idea is simple but profound. Customers don't buy products. They hire products to do a job for them. The famous milkshake story. Christensen's classic example involved a fast food company trying to improve milkshake sales. They first did traditional market research, asking customers if they should make a chocolatier or cheaper. They implemented the feedback, and sales didn't change. Frustrated, researchers stood in a restaurant for 18 hours and simply observed who was buying milkshakes. They discovered a surprising pattern. Nearly half were sold before 8:30 a.m. to people who were by themselves and who always drove off with it. They started interviewing these morning customers, not about the milkshake, but about their morning. They asked, "What job were you trying to get done when you hired that milkshake?" The answers were revelatory. The customers all had a long, boring commute. They needed something that would keep them full until lunch, that they could consume easily with one hand while driving, and that would relieve the tedium of the commute. What was the milkshakes competition? Not other milkshakes. It was a banana, a donut, a bagel, or a Snickers bar. The milkshake was the best solution for the job of making my long, boring commute more manageable. Once the company understood the real job, they could improve the product to do that job even better, making it thicker, adding tiny bits of fruit, and moving the dispenser to the front of the counter. Sales skyrocketed. Deconstructing the job, the three dimensions. The job is never just a simple task. It has three dimensions. Number one, the functional job. This is the practical, objective task the customer is trying to accomplish. Number two, the emotional job. This is how the customer wants to feel or avoid feeling as a result of doing the job. Number three, the social job. This is how the customer wants to be perceived by others. A truly great strategy designs a solution that addresses all three dimensions of the job. The job story protocol, a tool for clarity. A simple way to articulate the job is to frame it as a job story, using this format. When situation, I want a motivation so I can expect an outcome. This is far more powerful than a typical user story. Instead of, as a user, I want a calendar view, a job story would be. When I'm a solo entrepreneur juggling multiple clients, I want to see all my project deadlines in one place so I can feel in control of my work and never miss a commitment. The job story provides the rich context that is missing from traditional requirements. Uncovering the job, the switch interview. How do you find out what the real job is? You conduct switch interviews. You find recent customers who have just switched to your product. The goal is to reconstruct the story of their struggle and their purchasing decision. You're not asking about features. You're being a journalist investigating their journey. Key questions include, take me back to the day you first realized you needed something to solve this problem. What was happening? What were you using before? What wasn't working about it? What other options did you explore? What was it about our solution that made you feel it was the right choice? By shifting your focus from the customer's demographics to the job they're trying to get done, you will unlock a level of insight that your competitors will never see. This is the ultimate source of innovation and the most durable foundation for a winning strategy. Chapter 8. The three grand strategies: cost, differentiation, or focus. You have completed your analysis. You have a deep, objective understanding of your industry, your own capabilities, your competitors, and your customers' true needs. You have all the raw materials. Now, the work of the strategist truly begins. It is the work of synthesis, of choice, and of commitment. The amateur strategist attempts to be all things to all people. They try to have the best quality, the lowest price, and the best service. This is not a strategy. It is a recipe for being stuck in the middle. A company that tries to do everything ends up excellent at nothing. They are easily defeated by competitors who have made a clear choice. The professional strategist knows that the essence of a winning game plan is to choose one, and only one, primary basis for your competitive advantage. According to Michael Porter, the father of modern strategy, there are only three fundamental or generic strategies for achieving a sustainable competitive advantage over your rivals. Every successful business strategy is, at its core, a variation of one of these three. You must choose your path. Number one, cost leadership strategy. The game plan. Your goal is to become the lowest cost producer in your industry. You do not necessarily have the lowest price, but you have the lowest cost of creating and delivering your product or service. This cost advantage allows you to either charge a lower price and win on volume, or charge the industry average price and earn a higher profit margin. How to win? This strategy is built on a relentless obsession with operational efficiency. Every decision is filtered through the lens of, does this lower our costs? This involves economies of scale, proprietary technology, preferential access to raw materials, and lean operations. Who pursues this? Walmart, with its logistics and supply chain mastery. Southwest Airlines, with its single aircraft type and no-frills service. IKEA, with its flat-pack design and customer assembly. And McDonald's, with its standardized, high-volume processes. The risks. This is a brutal and unforgiving strategy. There can only be one true cost leader. It requires massive, ongoing capital investment to maintain your efficiency edge, and you are vulnerable to new, disruptive technologies. Number 2, differentiation strategy. The game plan. Your goal is not to be the cheapest, but to be unique. You seek to provide a product or service that offers unique attributes that are highly valued by customers, who are then willing to pay a premium price. How to win? This strategy is built on providing superior value along a dimension other than price. The source of differentiation can be anything customers care about: superior quality or performance, like a Mercedes-Benz or a Rolex; superior design or brand image, like Apple or Nike; superior customer service, like Zappos or Ritz-Carlton; innovation or features that no one else has. Who pursues this? Apple, for design and user experience; Starbucks, for premium experience and brand; BMW, for performance and engineering. The risks. The source of your differentiation must be difficult to imitate. If your unique feature can be quickly copied, your advantage will evaporate. You must also ensure that the premium customers are willing to pay is greater than the extra cost of providing that uniqueness. Number 3, focus strategy or niche strategy. The game plan. Instead of competing across the entire market, you concentrate your efforts on a narrow segment and seek to serve their specific needs exceptionally well. Your competitive advantage is built on your deep, intimate understanding of this niche. How to win? A focus strategy can take one of 2 forms. Cost focus. You aim to be the lowest cost provider for your specific niche. A regional, no-frills airline is an example. Differentiation focus. You aim to provide a highly differentiated product for your niche. For example, a high-end bicycle company that only makes custom-built racing bikes for professional cyclists. Who pursues this? Whole Foods, which focuses on organic and natural foods for a health-conscious segment, is a differentiation focus. A local, independent bookstore is another. The risks. Your chosen niche may be too small to be profitable. You are also vulnerable to a larger, broad market competitor deciding your niche is attractive and using their superior resources to attack it. The strategist's choice. Your job is to lead the organization in a clear and committed choice of one of these 3 paths. This choice must be based on the reality of your analysis. Does your VRIO analysis show strengths in operational excellence? Then a cost leadership strategy may be viable. Does your analysis reveal a powerful brand or unique technology? Then differentiation is likely your path. Does your jobs to be done analysis reveal an underserved group of customers? Then a focused strategy might be your key. This choice is the foundational act of strategy. It is the central logic that will guide every subsequent decision the company makes. Chapter 9. The Value Proposition Canvas. Forging the link between what you offer and what they crave. You have chosen your grand strategic direction: cost, differentiation, or focus. Now, you must translate that high-level choice into a concrete promise of value for your specific customer. The most powerful tool for forging this critical link is the Value Proposition Canvas. Developed by Dr. Alexander Osterwalder, the Value Proposition Canvas is a simple, visual framework that helps you ensure the product or service you are building is aligned with the values and needs of the customers you intend to serve. It is a diagnostic tool that forces you to escape your company out perspective, and adopt an empathetic customer in perspective. It is the bridge between your how to win and their why I should care. The canvas is split into two sides: the customer profile, the circle, and a value map, the square. The entire exercise is about achieving a fit between these two sides. Side 1. The customer profile, the circle observe. This side is about developing a deep, empathetic understanding of your chosen customer segment. You are mapping their world. This is where your jobs to be done research becomes the primary input. The customer profile has 3 components. Number 1, customer jobs. What is the customer trying to get done in their work and in their life? This should include functional jobs like write a report, social jobs like be seen as competent, and emotional jobs like gain peace of mind. Number 2, pains. What are the negative outcomes, risks, and obstacles the customer experiences? What annoys them? What are their frustrations? For example, it takes too long, it's too expensive, or it's frustrating to use. Number 3, gains. What are the positive outcomes and benefits the customer desires? This is not just the absence of pain. It is the achievement of positive aspirations. What would make them happy? For example, I wish it were faster, or I want something that looks beautiful. You should fill this side of the canvas out first, based on real customer research, not internal assumptions. Side 2, the value map, the square design. This side is where you design your solution. You map how your product or service will create value for the customer. The value map also has 3 components. Number 1, products and services. This is a simple list of what you offer. What are the specific products, services, or features that will help the customer get their job done? Number 2, pain relievers. How, specifically, does your product or service alleviate the customer pains you identified? If a customer pain is, it's too complicated, your pain reliever might be a simplified one-click user interface. Number 3, gain creators. How, specifically, does your product or service create the customer gains you identified? If a customer gain is, I want to feel more in control, your gain creator might be a real-time dashboard. The moment of truth, achieving fit. The magic happens when you bring the 2 sides together. You're looking for a clear and compelling fit between what the customer needs and what you offer. Does every pain reliever address a significant pain? Does every gain creator produce a desired gain? Are there any pains or gains that you have failed to address? This is a potential vulnerability or an opportunity. Are there any features on your value map that do not directly relieve a pain or create a gain? This is a classic sign of feature bloat, building things your company thinks are cool, but that customers don't actually care about. The value proposition canvas is a powerful strategy tool. It clarifies your differentiation strategy. It validates your focus strategy. It can even inform a cost leadership strategy by identifying overserved features you can eliminate. By systematically mapping and validating the fit between your offering and your customer's reality, you move beyond making products and start consciously designing value. Chapter 10, the strategy statement. A simple formula for unshakable clarity. You have done the hard work of analysis and choice. You have a strategy. But right now, that strategy exists as a complex web of ideas locked in the minds of the leadership team. To be effective, a strategy must be communicated. It must be simple, portable, and memorable enough to guide the daily decisions of every single person in the organization. The amateur strategist fails at this critical final step. They produce a 100-page PowerPoint deck filled with jargon. The document is distributed, filed away, and promptly forgotten. The professional strategist knows that the ultimate test of a good strategy is whether it can be distilled into a single, clear, and concise statement. This strategy statement is not a fluffy marketing tagline. It is a sharp, practical, and action-oriented declaration that encapsulates the core of your game plan. A powerful strategy statement has 3 essential components. The formula: objective, scope, and advantage. Number 1, objective. What is the single, primary, strategic objective we are trying to achieve? This must be specific and measurable, not vague. It defines what winning looks like. Number 2, scope. What is the specific playing field in which we will be operating? This defines the boundaries of our efforts, answering the where to play question. Number 3, advantage. What is the unique and sustainable advantage that will allow us to win within that scope? This is the most important part. It must clearly state what makes us different and better than the alternatives. This answers the how to win question. Putting the formula to work, examples. Here's an example for a fictional high-end coffee roaster. Objective: to become the leading provider of premium, direct-to-consumer coffee beans in the Pacific Northwest, achieving a 25% market share within 3 years. Scope: we will serve coffee connoisseurs in Washington, Oregon, and Northern California, selling exclusively through our online platform. We will not operate physical cafes. Advantage: our sustainable advantage will be our unique farm-to-cup supply chain, allowing us to source rarer, higher-quality beans, and our proprietary roasting process. The strategy statement would be, our strategy is to become the leading provider of premium coffee for connoisseurs in the Pacific Northwest by leveraging our unique farm-to-cup supply chain and proprietary roasting process, selling exclusively through an online subscription model. Here's an example for 8B2B software company. Objective: to achieve profitability within 24 months by becoming the dominant project management tool for a specific niche. Scope: we will serve small creative agencies with under 20 employees. We will not build features for large enterprise clients. Advantage: our advantage is a radically simplified user interface and a flat per project fee, which addresses our niche's primary pains of complex software and unpredictable costs. The strategy statement would be, our strategy is to become the dominant project management tool for small creative agencies by offering a radically simplified user experience and a disruptive per-project pricing model. The litmus test for a great strategy statement. Once you have drafted your statement, test it. Is it truly a choice? Does it clearly state what you will not do? Is it specific and concrete? Could a new employee read this and immediately understand the game plan? Does it define winning with a clear, measurable objective? And is it aligned? Does the stated advantage make sense for the chosen scope and objective? Crafting this statement forces a final, brutal level of clarity. Once finalized, this statement becomes your constitution. It is the simple, powerful tool you will use to communicate your strategy to every employee. It is the North Star that will keep the entire organization rowing in the same direction. Chapter 11, Blue Ocean Strategy: how to make the competition irrelevant. You have analyzed your industry, your company, and your customers. You have chosen one of the 3 grand strategies: cost leadership, differentiation, or focus. This is the classic, orthodox path to building a competitive advantage. But what if there were another way? What if, instead of fighting for a bigger piece of the existing pie, you could create an entirely new pie for yourself? What if you could make your rivals entirely irrelevant? This is the radical and profound premise of Blue Ocean Strategy, a framework developed by W. Chan Kim and Renee Mauborgne. Kim and Mauborgne divide the market universe into 2 types of oceans. Red oceans represent all the industries in existence today. In red oceans, industry boundaries are defined, and the competitive rules are well understood. Companies try to outperform rivals to grab a greater share of existing demand. As the market gets crowded, the competition turns bloody, turning the ocean red. This is the world of Porter's 5 forces and head-to-head competition. Blue oceans represent all the industries not in existence today, the unknown market space, untainted by competition. In blue oceans, demand is created rather than fought over. There is ample opportunity for growth. The competition is made irrelevant because the rules of the game are waiting to be set. The amateur strategist is a red ocean creature by default. Their focus is on benchmarking the competition, matching features, and beating prices. They are trapped in a zero-sum game. The professional strategist understands that the greatest opportunities for growth lie in creating blue oceans through a process called value innovation. Value innovation is the simultaneous pursuit of differentiation and low cost, breaking the value-cost trade-off that is central to red ocean strategy. The strategy canvas. the diagnostic tool for finding your blue ocean. The cornerstone of blue ocean strategy is the strategy canvas. This is a simple graph that captures the current strategic landscape and helps you plot a new, divergent path. The x-axis lists the key factors the industry currently competes on. For the airline industry, this might be price, meals, lounges, and friendly service. The y-axis represents the offering level that buyers receive for each factor, from low to high. A value curve is a graphic depiction of a company's relative performance across its industry's factors of competition. By plotting your company's value curve and your competitors on the same canvas, you get a powerful snapshot of the industry. In a typical red ocean, the value curves of all major competitors look remarkably similar. A blue ocean strategy is about creating a value curve that is radically different. The 4 actions framework, the engine of value innovation. How do you create a new value curve? You use the 4 actions framework. This framework challenges accepted industry dogma by posing 4 key questions. Number 1, eliminate. Which factors that the industry has long competed on should be eliminated? These are often features that no longer add significant value. Number 2, reduce. Which factors should be reduced well below the industry standard? These are often factors where companies have overinvested in a race to be the best. Number 3, raise. Which factors should be raised well above the industry standard? These are factors that address a hidden customer need. Number 4, create. Which new factors that the industry has never offered should be created? This is where true innovation happens. Case study, Cirque du Soleil. The circus industry in the 1980s was a classic red ocean. Ringling Brothers was locked in a bloody fight for a shrinking audience of families. They competed on star performers, animal acts, and multiple arenas. Cirque du Soleil used the 4 actions framework to create a blue ocean. They eliminated star performers and animal acts. They reduced the traditional fun and humor of clowns and the thrill and danger of acrobats. They raised the artistic quality and the uniqueness of the venue. They created entirely new factors, a central theme and storyline, multiple productions, and an atmosphere of refined artistry. By doing this, they created a new value curve and a new market space, a hybrid of circus and theater that appealed to a new group of customers, adults and corporate clients willing to pay a premium price. They didn't compete with Ringling Brothers. They made them irrelevant. The Blue Ocean Protocol for your business. Number 1, build your as-is strategy canvas. Map the value curve of your industry and your competitors. Number 2, apply the 4 actions framework. Systematically go through the questions. What can you eliminate, reduce, raise, and create? Number 3, sketch your to-be value curve. Use the output to draw a new, divergent value curve on your canvas. A good blue ocean value curve has 3 qualities: focus, divergence, and a compelling tagline. Blue ocean strategy is a powerful mindset shift. It moves your focus from how can we beat our rivals to how can we create a leap in value for our customers that makes our rivals a non-factor. Chapter 12, The Execution Bridge, translating strategy into objectives with OKRs. You have a strategy. It is brilliant. You present it to your organization. Everyone applauds. And then nothing happens. The teams go back to their desks and continue working on the same projects as yesterday. 6 months later, you realize the organization has made 0 meaningful progress toward achieving its goals. This is the dreaded strategy execution gap, where most strategies go to die. The gap exists because a high-level strategy is too abstract to guide day-to-day work. The professional strategist does not just create the strategy. They build the bridge to execute it. The most powerful framework for building this bridge is objectives and key results, or OKRs. Pioneered at Intel and made famous by Google, OKRs are a simple, agile goal-setting protocol for creating alignment around measurable goals. The anatomy of an OKR. An OKR consists of 2 parts. Number 1, the objective. This is the what. It is a qualitative, inspirational, and memorable statement of what you want to achieve. It answers the question, where do we want to go? Number 2, the key results. This is the how. For each objective, you will define 3 to 5 quantitative and measurable outcomes that signal you have achieved the objective. Key results are not tasks, they are outcomes. They answer the question, how will we know we're on our way? The litmus test, from task to outcome. The most common mistake is to create key results that are just a to-do list. You must distinguish between an activity and an outcome. An activity-based key result is weak. Launch the new V2 of the mobile app. This is a task. You can complete the launch, but what if no one uses it? An outcome-based key result is strong. Increase the mobile app's user rating from 3.2 to 4.5 stars, or achieve 50,000 monthly active users. These measure the impact of the launch. The OKR cadence, a rhythmic cycle of focus. OKRs operate on a nimble, rhythmic cadence. First, the annual strategic OKR. The leadership team sets 1 to 3 high-level, aspirational OKRs for the year, derived directly from the company's strategy. Next, the quarterly tactical OKRs. Each quarter, the entire organization sets its OKRs in a cascade. The annual OKRs are the North Star. Each department asks, what is the most important thing we can do this quarter to contribute? They set their departmental OKRs. Then, each team sets team-level OKRs. This is a process of both top-down guidance and bottom-up creation. Then, the weekly check-in. OKRs are a living management tool. Each team should have a brief weekly check-in where they review their key results and give a quick confidence score. On track, at risk, or off track. Finally, the quarterly review and grade. At the end of the quarter, each team scores their key results, typically on a scale of 0.0 to 1.0. The goal is not to hit 1.0 on everything. The sweet spot is often around 0.6 to 0.7, indicating the team stretched itself. Why OKRs work. The 4 superpowers. As described by John Doerr in his book, Measure What Matters, the OKR framework provides 4 key benefits. Number 1, focus and commit to priorities. The process forces hard choices about what truly matters. Number 2, align and connect for teamwork. The transparent cascade ensures everyone is rowing in the same direction. Number 3, track for accountability. Regular check-ins provide clear, data-driven tracking. Number 4, stretch for amazing. The framework encourages ambitious stretch goals that drive innovation. OKRs are the definitive execution bridge. They translate your high-level strategy into a series of focused, 90-day sprints, providing the clarity and alignment needed to make your vision a reality. Chapter 13, the strategic roadmap. Visualizing the journey from now to the future. You have a clear, long-term strategy. You have a powerful, short-term execution system in quarterly OKRs. You now need a tool that bridges the gap between these 2 horizons. This bridge is the strategic roadmap. The amateur strategist confuses a strategic roadmap with a detailed product roadmap or a Gantt chart. A strategic roadmap is a high-level, visual summary of the major strategic initiatives you will undertake over a multi-quarter or multi-year period. It is not a document of commitments. It is a statement of intent. It is not about features. It is about outcomes. It is not about dates. It is about sequencing and themes. The anatomy of an effective strategic roadmap. A great strategic roadmap should be simple enough to fit on a single slide. It typically has 2 axes. The horizontal axis is time. This should be low fidelity. Instead of specific months, use broad time horizons, such as now, next, and later. Now is the current quarter. Initiatives here should align with current OKRs. Next is the next 2 to 3 quarters. Initiatives here are well-defined but subject to change. Later is anything beyond. Initiatives here are more speculative and represent long-term ambitions. The vertical axis are themes or strategic pillars. This axis organizes work into broad themes derived from your strategy statement. Examples might include when the enterprise market achieve operational excellence or expand our product ecosystem. The content are initiatives, not tasks. The items you place on the roadmap are not small tasks. They are significant, high-level initiatives that will likely require multiple teams and several quarters to complete. A weak roadmap item would be build a new reporting dashboard. A strong roadmap item would be launch V1 of our business intelligence suite. How the roadmap creates value. Number 1, it communicates the why. The roadmap provides crucial context for quarterly OKRs. A team's objective to launch V1 of the mobile app is no longer an isolated goal. The team can see is a critical first step in a larger theme of expanding our product ecosystem. Number 2, it facilitates strategic conversation. The roadmap elevates discussion from tactical weeds to the strategic level. Number 3, it manages expectations. The now, next, later format makes it clear what the team is focused on now, while providing visibility into the future. It allows you to have a place to put great new ideas without derailing current focus. Number 4, it drives alignment. A single, visible strategic roadmap is the ultimate tool for ensuring all parts of the organization are aligned on the same long-term priorities. The strategic roadmap is your master narrative. It is the simple, powerful story of your journey from your current reality to your desired future. Chapter 14, The Cascade: How to Align and Inspire the Entire Organization. A strategy, no matter how brilliant, is an inert and useless document if it lives only in the minds of the executive team. A strategy only becomes powerful when it is translated into the focused, aligned, and enthusiastic action of the entire organization. The process of driving this alignment is called the strategy cascade. The amateur strategist believes their job is done after the big announcement. They host a town hall, email the strategy deck, and expect the organization to magically align. They are then frustrated when months later, teams are still working on old projects and a deep sense of cynicism has set in. The professional strategist knows that the announcement is not the end of the communication process. It is the beginning. The strategy cascade is not a single event. It is a continuous, deliberate process of translation, communication, and reinforcement. The principle of translation, not dictation. A common mistake is a rigid, top-down, command and control approach. This fails because it robs teams of their autonomy and sense of ownership. A successful cascade is a process of translation. At each level of the organization, leaders are responsible for answering the question, given the company's overall strategy, what is the most important contribution our team can make? Level 1, the executive team, sets the overall strategy. Our strategy is to win the enterprise market by differentiating on superior customer support. Level 2, the department leaders, translate this. The VP of customer support might say, our department's mission this year is to build a world-class, proactive enterprise support model. Level 3, the team leaders, translate the departmental strategy. The support manager might say, our team's focus this quarter is to reduce our average enterprise ticket resolution time by 50%. In this model, each level is given the why and is empowered to determine the how. The role of middle management, the critical translators. The most important players in the strategy cascade are your middle managers. They are the crucial bridge between the high-level vision and the daily reality. If middle managers do not understand, believe in, and translate the strategy, it will fail. As a senior strategist, you must treat your middle managers as your primary audience. Provide dedicated training. Hold workshops for managers to go deep on the strategy. Equip them with tools. Provide a one-page summary, a list of talking points, and an FAQ document. Empower them. Give them the autonomy to work with their teams to translate the strategy into their own OKRs. Rituals of reinforcement, keeping the strategy alive. The cascade is not a one-time event. You must build a system of organizational rituals to constantly reinforce the strategy. Number 1, the all-hands meeting. This should be a key storytelling vehicle. Every project update and success story shared should be explicitly tied back to a core strategic pillar. Number 2, the weekly team meeting. Every team leader should be encouraged to start their weekly meeting with a simple check-in. As a reminder, our team's key strategic objective this quarter is X. How does our work this week contribute? Number 3. Visual artifacts. The strategy should be visible. Print posters of the one-page summary. Make company OKRs visible to everyone. The more people see it, the more real it becomes. Number 4. Performance and recognition. Tie the strategy to what the organization values. When giving out awards or promotions, explicitly celebrate individuals and teams who have made significant contributions to advancing the strategy. The strategy cascade is the work of turning a document into a culture. It is the deliberate, patient, and persistent process of ensuring that every person in the organization can answer the question, how does my work today help this company win? Chapter 15. The feedback loop. Measuring, learning, and adapting your strategy. A strategy is not a stone tablet. It is a hypothesis. It is a well-informed, rigorously analyzed bet about the future. Your strategy statement is essentially saying, we believe that if we make this specific set of choices, we will achieve our desired objectives. Like any good hypothesis, it must be tested against reality. The amateur strategist, once the strategy is launched, becomes a dogmatic defender of the plan. They ignore mounting evidence that their core assumptions were wrong. They fly the plane directly into the side of a mountain, perfectly executing a flawed plan. The professional strategist understands that the launch of the strategy is the beginning of the learning process. Their most important job is to build and manage a robust strategic feedback loop. This is a systematic process for measuring progress, learning from results, and making deliberate course corrections. Step 1. Define your strategic metrics, leading versus lagging indicators. To test your hypothesis, you need data. You must have a balanced scorecard that includes 2 types of metrics. Lagging indicators are the ultimate outcome metrics. They are easy to measure but hard to influence directly. They tell you about the past. Common examples include revenue, profit margin, and market share. You must track these, but they're like looking in the rearview mirror. Leading indicators are the input or activity metrics that you hypothesize will drive your lagging indicators. They are harder to define, but much easier to influence. They are predictive. They are your early warning system. If your lagging indicator is customer churn, a leading indicator might be product engagement score or customer satisfaction score. A drop in engagement today predicts a rise in churn next quarter. A great set of key results in your OKRs will always contain a healthy mix of both leading and lagging indicators. Step 2. Establish the strategic review meeting. The feedback loop needs a formal forum. This is not your weekly tactical meeting. The strategic review meeting is a dedicated, recurring, usually quarterly, meeting for the senior leadership team with the sole purpose of reviewing the strategy itself. The agenda is critical. Number 1. Performance review. The what? A concise review of the strategic scorecard. How are we tracking against our key indicators? Number 2. Landscape review. The what's changed. A rapid scan of the external and internal environment. What have competitors done? Have customer needs shifted? Is there new technology? Number 3. Strategy review. The so what. This is the core of the meeting. Based on our performance and changes in the landscape, is our core strategic hypothesis still valid? Number 4. Decision and action. The now what. The meeting must end with clear decisions. What is our strategic stance for the next quarter? Step 3. Persevere, pivot, or perish. The 3 strategic stances. The output of the strategic review meeting will be a decision to adopt one of 3 stances. Persevere. The data suggests our strategy is sound and working. The performance gaps are likely due to execution. The decision is to stay the course and focus on optimizing tactics. Pivot. The data suggests one or more of our core assumptions are flawed. A pivot is a major course correction. It is not an abandonment of a vision, but a significant change in how we plan to achieve it. For example, pivoting from a direct-to-consumer model to a channel partner model. Perish. In rare cases, the feedback loop reveals the entire strategic hypothesis is irrevocably broken and no viable pivot exists. The courageous decision here is to terminate the initiative and reallocate resources. This deliberate cycle of measuring, learning, and adapting is what transforms a static plan into a dynamic, intelligent system. It is the process that allows an organization to navigate the future, not by trying to predict it, but by building the capacity to learn and respond faster than the competition. Conclusion: the strategist's identity, the power of choice. The myth. The pervasive myth of strategy is that it is an act of genius, a mystical art of predicting the future. We picture the strategist as a lone, brilliant visionary, a chess grandmaster. This myth is intimidating and paralyzing. It suggests that strategy is an innate gift reserved for a select few. The summary: we have systematically shattered this myth. We have shown that strategy is not an act of prophecy. It is a disciplined and learnable process. It is a system for making intelligent choices in the face of uncertainty. We have built that system from the ground up. It begins with adopting the strategist's mindset. It is grounded in the brutal clarity of analysis. It culminates in the courageous work of developing the game plan. And finally, it is made real through the disciplined process of action and adaptation. The identity: you have completed the roadmap. Your professional identity has been upgraded. You are no longer just an operator focused on doing things right. You are a strategist obsessed with doing the right things. Your core function is no longer just to manage tasks, but to make choices. You understand that the essence of a great strategy lies in its clarity and focus. You know that the most powerful strategic move is often the decision of what not to do. The command: this playbook is now yours, but its true value is in its application. Your final command is to start exercising your strategic muscle, not in the future, but today. You do not need the title of Chief Strategy Officer to be a strategist. Start where you are. The next time you are in a team meeting, ask the two core questions: what is the where to play for this decision? And what is our how to win? The next time you make a decision, practice second-order thinking. Ask, and then what? Strategy is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. It is a way of thinking. Begin that practice now. Did this roadmap help you? Your journey is just beginning, but your feedback is crucial. If this book provided you with real-world value, the single best way to support this mission is to leave an honest review on Amazon. Your review helps other ambitious, self-taught pros find the tools they need to bypass the gatekeepers and build the career they deserve. Thank you for being part of the community. More by Ron Gardinski. Your roadmap continues. You've learned to think like a strategist. Now, gain the skills to execute your vision and turn your insights into market-defining solutions. From zero to leader. Apply your strategic vision by learning to build and motivate the high-performing teams required to execute your game plan. From zero to innovator. Take your strategic insights and learn the system for running lean experiments and launching market-defining products and solutions.